Greetings, students. This is the Lion of Lion School. Let me tell you the story of the little painter of Sabana, Grande. High in the mountains of Panama lies the village of Sabana Grande. It is very small. Just 7 houses of clay, adobe, stand alongside a brook in a grassy meadow. In the middle house lives the Espino family. At dawn, one cool purple morning, the rooster next door crowed. The Espinos woke up. Papa went off to the meadow to milk the cow. Mama stirred up the fire in the open-air kitchen and fried golden breakfast tortillas. Fernando rolled up his straw sleeping mat and put it in the corner. He hurried to the kitchen to eat his tortilla right away. This was an important day. At school, Fernando had learned to draw colored pictures with crayons. Now, school was out for dry season vacation, and Fernando was going to paint for the first time. His teacher, Senora Arias, had told him exactly how the country people of Panama made their paints. She said, black from the charcoal of a burned tree stump, blue of certain berries that grow deep in the jungle, yellow from dried grasses in the meadow, and red from the clay on the bottom of the brook. It took him a long time to make the paints. Black was easy because the burned stump of a big tree lay right next to the Espino's adobe house. But Fernando had to look before he found those certain berries deep in the jungle to make the blue paint. In the corner of the meadow, he found a patch of very dry grass, and from that he made a large pot of yellow. He wandered up and down alongside the brook, looking for clay. The fast-flowing water was too deep for him to reach down to the bottom. At last he came to a bend in the brook where the water was shallow. He reached down and dug up a fistful of clay. It was red, just the way Senora Arias had said. Now his paints were stirred up and waiting, black, blue, yellow, and red, in 4 bowls. Next, he got out the 3 paint brushes his teacher had given him. One very small, one medium-sized, and one especially large. I'm ready to paint pictures, Fernando said to himself. He picked up the small brush and dipped it into the pot of red. Then he had a terrible thought. He had nothing to paint a picture on. An artist needs paper. Page 291. He looked in both rooms of the house. He could find no paper at all. He ran from house to house, asking everyone in Sabana Grande for paper to paint on. None of the neighbors had any, not a scrap. Fernando was sad. After all his work, he wouldn't be able to paint pictures. The colored pictures he could almost see. He wanted to make them so badly. Paints and brushes weren't enough. He needed paper, too. His fingers itched to draw something, anything. He put down the paintbrush and went over to the mud by the brook. He picked up a stick and drew in the wet dirt the way he had ever since he was a very little boy. The big rooster who woke him up every morning came out of the chicken yard next door. Fernando looked at him and drew the shape of a rooster. He sighed. He couldn't use his new red and yellow paints to make a bright rooster. He couldn't make the rooster's comb red. He could only scratch out a mud-colored rooster. It wasn't the same as painting would be. It didn't have any color.